Hello, hello, hello. I almost said happy Sunday, happy Wednesday, happy Work It Wellness Wednesday. I am Coach Yolanda, owner of Evolving Spirit Wellness, and I'm so excited to be here tonight with an amazing woman. Um, I am grateful that I am at a point in my life where I am meeting so many like minded individuals who have found a way to take their spirituality and infuse it in their personal life, in their professional life, and provide such healing to others. My guest tonight is many things. She is an artist. She is a healer, she is a teacher, and she does all of those things in a way that inspires me, and I'm sure that it will inspire you as well. Everybody, welcome Simone to Work It Wellness Wednesday. Hey, Miss Simone.
Hey, hi. How are you today?
I am well because I am with you. And as I said, you are inspiring with all that you do. You are an artist. Your work and the way in which you work with individuals is amazing. You are a healer because, as you say, and we'll talk about a little bit later, you see people on their best days and sometimes on their worst days.
Mhm.
And you absolutely are a teacher, not just because you teach people how to do what it is that you do, but I think you teach by example. And we're
Thank
going to
you.
talk about all of those ways that you do that. But before we do that, and you tell us who you are in your own words, how would you like to start our conversation?
I would like to start with a prayer because you're really good at
Oh,
that.
thank you. Why, thank you. Shout out to Mama Helen, the best prayer teacher that ever lived. And I received that. Thank you. Well, let us all come into this right now moment where we have the ability to connect with our higher self and our higher power, knowing that those things are one and the same. We offer up gratitude to the God of all of the unifying worlds and all beings who consider themselves to be a reflection of that same energy. We say thank you for this moment, for the previous moments that brought us here, the moment that we are currently in, and all of the things that will be born because of this moment. We say thank you for all of the challenges, the experiences that have enriched us and helped us grow, even if we could not see it that way at that time. We know that as we continue to elevate it within the collective consciousness, we will see one another and see ourselves differently. And we are so grateful for your patience as we continue to grow. We thank you for this blessed moment. Let it be all that it is designed and intended to be, and let it be for your glory. And we say Ashe, and we let it be. All right.
Ashe, amen. Oh, see, I told you.
Only because, not only, but because of your influence, because of your influence, because you are such a dynamic woman. Hey, well, one of our loves. Hello, it must Marissa.
Hi.
Excited for this conversation. So I have labeled you artist, teacher, healer. How would you describe yourself, Simone?
Ah, you give me big titles and I'm just accepting those today. I'm not gonna lie, because I've always looked at myself as a hairstylist, a mother and daughter and friend, always first. But I am learning to embrace that I am more than those things. And I'm a hairstylist and I love what I do. And I'm an educator and I'm a herald to my community now.
Mm, let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Let's talk about that.
Um, as a hairstylist for so many years, I always start by saying I'm a smart person learns from their own mistakes. A smarter person learns from others. And given that I get to be around so many amazing women, I've got to learn so many things over the years that I get to share with other women. Even the first time me and you spoke, you dropped some nuggets on me that have changed my life immensely from that day forward. And I want to appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. But because of my position, I'm able to share. When I'm standing behind a woman in the chair and she's talking about whatever issue, and I'm like, hey, girl,
Mm,
Miss Yolanda told me. Or, hey, girl, I learned this, I saw this. So what I thought was like, in a space where salons can be very gossipy, there's a space where it can spread more awareness than most. And I choose to do that instead. So I get to share testimonies. I get to share my experiences. I get to share other women's experiences and help women along in their journeys. And I thought that was real small. And I didn't realize what a significance that was until I started looking at the bigger picture.
Right, right. And first of all, historically, women
Yes.
joining together and getting their hair done or their nails, whatever it is, when we get together to feel our best and look our best, that's therapeutic. We may not have
Yes.
always known that, but we knew that we always needed to go. I know
Yes.
my mother was religious about every 2 weeks, hair salon. Even when she couldn't go, she would send me, and I felt like a big girl going to the hair salon by myself for the first time because I knew I was going to be amongst women, having women conversations. And, sometimes we forget that there are children in the room, but I got a lot of wisdom from
Yes.
being in those places and spaces and hearing conversation that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And so there, I now know as an energy healer that when you are in someone's energy field, you get to feel what they're feeling. Whether they're saying it or not. I know there probably are times when women sit in your chair and say, oh, I'm good, doing okay, and you're like, your hair is telling me different and your energy is telling me different. And slowly but surely the things start to come out. That's why I say you are a healer, because I know that you are healing your clients as you are taking care of them.
That's even where my own story begins with even doing hair. I when I was like 19 years old, I didn't know about depression back then. I know a lot of us, mental health was not a big thing back then. But at 19, I couldn't get out of bed for a week.
Mm,
And I was a workaholic. I was in college, cosmetology school. I had 2 jobs. I was doing hair on the side. And that was in a space I was trying to get over a breakup. And
mm,
I didn't know that's what I was doing because you don't have the vocabulary for that. I was just, one day I just couldn't do it anymore. So I laid in bed for a week, got up to go to the bathroom and get something to eat, but I didn't go to work. I didn't go to school, and that's not what I do. And I didn't have the energy to do my own hair. And my job had been doing my hair since I was 12, but this time I couldn't do it. So I called up Miss Sandra. I was like, hey, it's Monday. Can I come get my hair done? Still feeling gross. So Miss Sandra trained me. I'm gonna tell y'all this real quick. She taught me how to do hair,
mhm.
but she didn't teach me because she never let me look at the mirror because she didn't want me to see what she was doing. It was the weirdest relationship ever. I appreciate her, but she taught me, but then she didn't teach me. So she never let me look at the mirror when I was getting my hair done. And even when I assisted her, I couldn't be in the room while she was styling hair. Strangest thing. But I digress. She did my hair with my back to the mirror the whole entire time. And when she turned me around in the chair, everything went away.
Mm,
All those bad feelings went away. And I went home, I got dressed, I went to go visit my friends, I went to go visit my family. I wanted to be seen again, and I went outside. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know the feelings that I had before. I just thought I was tired. I didn't even know what that feeling was that when she turned me around in the chair. I just knew I wanted to do that for other people.
mm. Because
And
you
that
saw
was
the
the
power in it.
yeah, I felt like $1 million. Like I couldn't get out of bed, and now I wanted everybody to see me. I was cute. So I signed when I was going to cosmetology school. I didn't really take it that serious, but that moment then I was like, oh, I want to go to school. I want to do this, and I was in cosmetology school full time and at Baruch College full time as well. I went both places full time and still kept my little jobs on the side because I didn't like to ask my parents for money. Um, so that was the whole reason I even started doing hair, not understanding at 19 what that mission statement was. I just knew I wanted to make women feel like I did that day. And
Mm,
as my journey went along in doing hair, I learned more, I saw more, I saw how it affected people. And I'm still learning that to this day. It's been 20 years. I don't want y'all to do the math or count your fingers to figure out that number, but it's been 20 years and I'm still in a space of learning. And that's always been my mission statement, to make women feel their most powerful and beautiful selves. And like I always tell you, I just appreciate being a part of people's important days in their lives, whether it be the good days and actually more so the bad days, if I can help somebody get out of that space. So I value that immensely. And I always thank people for trusting me with their moments.
Right. And I'm sure your clients value that, because when you are in those worst moments where you're down and you're not thinking about your hair, you're not thinking about the way you look, but if someone else can come in and take care of you. So that was the other one title I was looking for. You are a
Oh,
caregiver. You are a
ah,
caregiver because you are able to do what people may not be able to do for themselves.
yeah.
And that you have to establish a level of trust to be able to do that. Whether Miss Sandra was doing some stuff or not, you trusted her enough to
I
know that she
did.
was going to take care of you, and she did that for you. And look how
Yeah.
it transformed your life,
Yes.
where you made that your mission. And
Mhm.
so, okay, artist, healer, advocate, caregiver, and someone that I learned will make dynamic choices when necessary. Is that something that you learned from the women that you've worked with over the years, or something that has been with you all the time?
So I learned from the women that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
I I absolutely made poor decisions. Sometimes I still do. Like I got a can of Pepsi right here. I'm not supposed to be drinking that, but um,
No
um,
judgment. No
yeah,
judgment.
I earned. Listen, I earned that today. I went through some stuff this morning. I was like, I deserve a Pepsi, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
do that.
Right.
No, absolutely. From the women that I've sat in my chair, the women that I let hold court in my brain, as I would
Mhm.
say. Like I have a team of people that sit with me every day now in my adulthood that help me make better decisions. Because I'm like, what would Nikki do? That's my
Mm.
cousin. What would Asia say to me? That's my best friend, one of my best friends. But yeah, just the example of learning from the women that have sat in my chair, that have trusted me with their stories, watching women unfortunately go through things, because you're also supposed to learn from people's mistakes even in front of you, and learning what not to be.
Right.
Like you pay attention to all those things. But yeah, I've been making better decisions in my adult life. I appreciate that, because I've also been more aware of when God shows up for me now. That was the other thing. So I'm a Capricorn. I'm stubborn, and I use
You see, I put my hands up.
like
Soon
you
as
be
you said you're a
blocking.
Capricorn, okay.
Yeah. No, just like I've blocked my blessings supremely in the past by asking for things. And then when God does it, I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not how I wanted it. That's not what I wanted.
Mhm.
But he's always shown up. And I'm just grateful now in my adult space to recognize immediately when he does show up and how he shows up, and to pay attention to those things. So that was a big thing in my decision making, because I ask and he show up. And sometimes it's not always how I like, but
Mhm.
now I'm more receptive of what he's telling me immediately to make those better decisions, and also pay attention to the women that I admire and want to be more like. Like
Mhm.
that's the other thing. Like some people look at, like it's a flip between envy and emulation, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's sometimes it gets a little close, but emulation is a space of you not wanting to be that person, but you just admire those qualities in them that you would aspire to have.
And
So
the thing about that is, I'm so glad you said that, because the thing about that, when you see someone and you would like to emulate those qualities, there has to be some belief that you got some of that. You know what I
yes,
mean? That's the difference between emulation and envy. Envy makes you feel like I don't have that and I don't like that you have it. But
exactly.
emulation will say, I like what you got and I know I got some of that in me and you inspire me.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be like you, but you have inspired me to up my game. And is
Yeah.
that not what we are all here for? And so, all of these dynamic women that you get to work with, were they the inspiration for you also? You are an artist. You have some amazing custom wigs. So,
Oh
where
yeah.
that came from?
Because I love my clients so much, actually all my units are named after the people that asked me to make them. So like this one I have on right now, I have a client named Rana. She's so dope. She's so dope. She's an amazing mother. And she does a lot in her community in Queens. That's where I'm originally from, New York, Queens. She does a lot in our community, and she's like a great client. Like we sit down and we have fantastic conversation. And one day she asked me to recreate a unit that looks like her usual. So I have on Arana. So literally all my units are named after my clients that requested them, except for like a couple because I have a sense of humor.
Okay.
That's just me. Like
Okay.
I have a one that I just made. It's like the mullet. You know, the mullet is coming back.
Right, 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 right.
And immediately, I wasn't the biggest fan of it back then. I'm not a big fan of it now. So immediately I was calling it the Joe Dirt and the Joe Exotica. So it's actually going to go up on the website as the JoJo for those purposes.
Okay. Listen, I love it. I love it. And
Because I'm
I had
silly.
to ask you about that because my mother wore wigs her whole life, but they all had
Mm-hmm.
a name, and I never
Yeah.
understood why do you have to name the wig. So,
Because like you become a different person. You can be
right,
whatever you want to be. Like it's like Beyonce got Sasha Fierce and all that other stuff. Like sometimes you change your girl, it changes your whole energy. I got where's she at up here? Hold on.
look at the girls. Look at the
Oh yeah, the
girls.
girls is out. So she a little messy, forgive her. But she reminded me of Toni Braxton from back in the day.
See it. I see it.
Another sad love song.
Everyone had that Tony.
a good,
Everyone wanted the Tony
a good
Braxton.
mushroom cut.
Uh-huh.
And
She's cute.
oh, hold on. This my girl. She a little messy, y'all. So I pulled her out the bag. But this is Bobby, right? Because
Okay.
like how Whitney Houston yells out Bobby. Bobby! that's
I love it. Right.
that's how that goes. So that's just me being silly also. But that's they're all named after my clients. When they ask me for custom requests of things I've never done before, I do that. And it's also just it's how I celebrate them.
I was just going to say, but that
Yeah.
also must be so healing for them.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason may be for a woman asking for a wig, again, that's a personal thing. And then for you to take that and say, I'm going to name this after you. Now, is it just the wigs that, for instance, the one that you're wearing? If
Mm-hmm.
anybody wanted to purchase that, they would have to purchase the Ronnie, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So that energy of Ronnie goes wherever that piece goes.
Yes.
Simone, and this is what I'm talking. This is why I love to have these conversations where people merge their personal characteristics into their professional lives, because sometimes we have this duality that goes on where we're
Yeah.
one way at work and we're another way in our personal life, and then we feel splintered.
Mm-hmm.
And duality has a purpose because we are human beings having a, spiritual beings having a human experience. So there are dual parts of who we are. But when we start to split those things apart, that's where we get frustrated and disappointed, and we can't stand the job, or we're frustrated in our personal lives because we're trying to be different people in different spaces. And so
Yeah.
for you to be able to, did you know that you were doing that when you were merging your business and doing it in a healing way?
No, I didn't. But as it went along, it was like, oh, I like her. Because at first I was like, well, what do I name this? Like, I'm not going to lie. That's how even the website and the orders came to be. I was just doing custom orders, but I had to do a website. And I didn't know what to name them. And I was like, I can't be that corny. Like, I felt corny trying to just come up with stuff. And then I thought about my clients and I was like, I'm going to just name them after them. And like the first two that I did, and they were like, oh my God, Simone, like for real, girl. I was like, oh, y'all like this? Okay, I'm gonna keep it going. And it turned out great because and like you said, their energy exudes in this. They're excited about it. Like it's a stunt factor.
Mhm.
It's a space of being confident. Like I got a wig named after me. Like I'm
Listen,
cute.
I don't have any hair, but if somebody named a wig after me, I would be telling everyone.
Don't be surprised if it show up in a few weeks. I
Listen,
gotta do a whole
listen.
summer collection.
Simone, 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 you gonna have me out here with a wig on, and I would do it, and I would do it because again, all parts of who we are should be reflected and expressed at all times, no matter
Yes.
where we are, and that's why this is the particular focus of these conversations because I talk to a lot of people who are living dual lives. You
Yeah.
know, they want to connect to themselves spiritually, but then in their professional life, they're playing this part. You can't do that.
I
You
did
gotta
that.
be who you are in everywhere you go.
I did that for a long time. Like I came into doing hair. I was a bank. I went to school for business, so I was a bank manager for a while and doing hair on the side. And when I got laid off during the mortgage crisis in 2008, I came back into doing hair full time, and I really struggled with like finding that professionalism and being professional and doing the things that I was used to. Not being so attached to my clients, like just certain energies that make it hard as a business owner. And it took a long time to figure out, like you said, the duality of it all. But I'm in a great space now. Like I really enjoy what I do. There was a time period because I was so structured and so business that
Mm,
there was people sitting in my chair that we didn't have the best energy. Like I was walking away. I walked away from a client one time. I
mm.
had to give her a heavy hand. Like it was just off. And I was like, I got to be right back. I had to go outside and take 5 minutes because I wasn't feeling good. And because at that time I wasn't in tune with my spirituality like that, I didn't understand what that meant. Um,
So it was like you brought the corporate mentality to your healing work, and who does that?
you can't, you
You can't.
can't,
You
you
could try.
can't, you can. I tried for a long time and it worked and then it didn't work. It worked because I brought a different type of standard into into the salon I was working with at the time, as far as like respecting people's time and being a little bit more structured in that place, which people appreciated. But then I was also very cold, and that's not necessarily my energy all the time. But I also had to learn I can't share that with anybody. Like I'm literally touching people's heads.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's the crown chakra. I got my hands in it. My fingers used to be like, at the ends of the night sometimes, and not understanding that, or the fact that I used to have to sit in my car for an hour to decompress before I walked in the house because of all the energy that I was surrounded with all day. And not really understanding that until I was around other amazing women who were more understanding of their what's the word? Oh gosh. I'm so mad I lost the word. Not their empathy.
Mhm.
Oh no, their empathy. More aware of how they were empathic. That's the word.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I
Right.
never thought of myself as empathic because, like, again, I'm a Capricorn. I work. I'm busy. Like, I never thought of
Mhm.
myself as that. But I read a book 2 years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, I am an empath." And
Mhm.
now that I've learned what type of empath I am, I've created a really dope space with me and my clients now.
Which is another reason for this conversation because we are all empathic. We are
Yes.
spiritual beings having
Mm.
a temporary human experience. And so if you lose that part of yourself or you're not connected to it, it will show up and kick you in your behind. Like, how could you forget who you are? How
Eh,
could you forget who you are? And so I want to say, because we have some comments. If anybody has a question for Simone, just put it in the comments and I'll
please.
out. Um, my love Shayna says this topic is most definitely dedicated to you, Yaya Hair. And Marissa also saying that we were talking about the power in knowing who you are and what your purpose is, and because you are working in literally working in the crown chakra, which is the connection to people's higher power. What do you do for yourself before you are working with others? So what's your
Uh,
process?
so, these past few years we've had to sit down, so I've had the opportunity now to really learn. Before it was drinking a cup of coffee and listening to Jeezy on my way to work to get me hype.
Listen,
um,
that's spiritual. That's spiritual.
um, but it was draining for many, many years. So due to COVID, we all had a chance to sit down and reevaluate some things, and even how I get to return to the industry as an entrepreneur. I'm really excited about that. But now I have a routine in the morning. I really like it. It's working for me. I drink my cup of coffee. I sit on my balcony. I take 5 minutes with myself, do a little bit of yoga, and get to play with my son before I take him to daycare. I got a 2-year-old now, and I didn't have the opportunity with my daughter. My oldest is 18. She's a freshman in college, and when she was this young, I was a workaholic. Like, that's all I did. I was out of the house before she woke up. I was home well after she went to sleep. So the opportunity now to lay up with my son and play with him as long as I feel like it before I get to start work is really dope. So I move more in my time, even though I'm still as busy. I've just not changed my mission and not changed my passion, but I just kind of veered it into places that work a little better for me in my life. And I'm still learning and changing because I sat down for so long and was taking care of so many other people for such a long time. I don't even know what I like anymore. So we've been playing around in that game for the past few weeks. Like, what does someone like to do again?
So that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's been kind of cool. It's been kind of cool.
And I love that you are giving that to yourself, because one thing about caregivers is sometimes we leave ourselves last, not recognizing that if you are not replenished and fresh, you can't give at your highest capacity. And so that forces us to make choices that we wouldn't make in any other way. And because we've had previous conversations, I know some of the choices that you've had to make in your life, which
Yeah.
amaze me, absolutely amaze me. Um, you are a mother, you are a business owner, but you were putting yourself last until some things were revealed in your life. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So it can start where I had an older sister. I have an older sister. She's my half sister. She's 5 years older than me, and at 38, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was very, very aggressive. I got to only see her a couple of times during her bout with cancer, and in New York, I didn't have medical insurance. And it was crazy. I went to the doctor and I told him, and he was just like, "Oh, I'll give you, a referral." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Like this, "No, I'm good. I'm good." He gave me the referral maybe 3 or 4 times. Never went to go get checked out. Unfortunately, my sister succumbed to her cancer at 41 3 years ago, and I still didn't want to find out because I also wasn't in a position to find out. Like in New York, I didn't have medical insurance. That was fruits and bearing it up. I got sick on my day off type vibe. You know what I mean? So I moved to Virginia. And able to get some medical insurance. And I had a couple of miscarriages back to back. They were surprise miscarriages, so it didn't take me out. But more so like, okay, pump your brakes. You're getting a little older, girl. Go get checked out and really find out what's going on to make sure that you can do this the way you want to do this and carry a healthy baby and you be healthy as well. And when I told my doctor my family history, he was like, "Time out. You got to go to the breast center immediately." And at first I was very scared about how aggressive they were because, with Henrietta Lacks, I was over here like, "Oh, they going to poke and prod at me."
Right.
But one of my clients was a doctor. She put me at ease. She was just like, "They're not this aggressive with women of color usually. So take it and run with it. Like, they don't do this with us. So appreciate how they're moving with you and take full advantage." And I found out that I was BRCA2 positive, which is the hormonal gene that makes you have gives you a higher chance of having hormonal cancers, which are breast cancer and ovarian cancer. And due to my family history, they put me at a 75 to 82% chance of breast cancer and a 41 to 50% chance of ovarian cancer. And I like math, and those are some ridiculous numbers to me. And,
Hmm.
and it was on my father's birthday. I won't forget, August 14th, when I found that out. And the doctor was like, okay, so 3 months we're gonna do the hysterectomy and the double mastectomy. We're gonna take your stomach fat and create breast. I was like, that sounds like a mommy makeover. I'm gonna do that anyway. I was like, I was gonna do that anyway.
Hmm.
Um, Not really understanding what it was. And then I asked, can I have more kids? And she was just like, no, like we can't have more kids. I was like, all right, time out. Let me talk to my partner at the time and make some life decisions. And when I sat down for a moment, because like all the information happened at once. Fortunately, there was a bad situation between me and my son's father that literally happened that same week. So like life was lifing in 1 week. Like that's how it do. Like that's how
Right.
it does.
Hmm.
Um, so I had to take some real hardcore reevaluations for my life. Like, okay, Simone, um, you know what cancer looks like, Simone. You've cut women's hair off. You've hugged women. You've had clients that lost their battles to cancer. You've had your clients' family members that have lost. You've lost. You know what I mean? Um, because but at that time, my sister did pass away. So I had lost. You know what this looks like. You know what it does. And do you really want to take those chances? Like you know numbers, girl. And then I was like, do you want to have another baby? And what are the chances of how this is going to go for you given the state and the relationship that you're in now?
Woo! Simone.
So
Simone.
that's not something we even really talked about because that's still a very touchy subject for me. But I really had to sit down and make a choice. Like, you're not married, you're in an unstable relationship. This is your last chance. Are you willing to do this by yourself? Are you willing to do these things by yourself? Are you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you showing up for all these things? And then I'm getting emotional now. I thought about my clients. I thought about my mom because in my household, I'm an only child. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I thought about my family and what they would do without me. You know what I mean? And then it was like, I want to show up and be an example for my own daughter. So, in selfish fashion, though, I still wanted to have another baby. So, we went ahead, even though I knew the chances of how this would all turn out. I
Mhm.
went ahead and went ahead and I think I got pregnant immediately. Like I think
Mhm.
we found out August 14th. My son is a Taurus. I think I probably got pregnant that weekend. I don't know.
Listen.
um, so fast forward, I'm enjoying pregnancy. Things are happening. We're preparing now because right after this baby's supposed to be born, I'm scheduled for surgeries because they want to be extremely aggressive with me because I'm literally in the middle of the age where my sister
Okay.
was. Yeah.
So you get pregnant,
Hmm.
going through this pregnancy, knowing that after this child is born,
Yeah.
all of these surgeries are going to be happening.
And I'm going to be out of work as a self employed person. That was what made me more nervous.
And this is what I'm talking about, the choices that you
Hmm.
made for your well being. You
Hmm.
know, we have individuals, and I'm not calling out any names, who are afraid to go get a checkup. But here you are making choices of, I'm going to have a baby, even though I don't know if this relationship is going to be sustainable. I'm going to have these surgeries where they're going to remove my breast and my uterus.
Yeah.
And I got a newborn baby. So I may be doing all of this by myself.
Yeah. It was, I,
So I
I,
don't know if you can answer this, but if
mhm.
you had not had the experiences with the women sitting in your chair and the stories and the wisdom and all of that, do you think you would have made that choice? Do you think you would have gotten to that? Even with your sister and
um,
all of that.
I'm a firm believer that even without the stories And even not living in Virginia, like if I was still in New York, I wouldn't have done it. I would have I know for a fact I would have YOLO'd it out. My friends would have been like, why that girl going to the Bahamas every weekend? Why she want us to go out every weekend? I would have lived, and I wouldn't even told anybody, because I know me. I wouldn't have wanted to scare people. I wouldn't have wanted to worry people. I just would have did my due diligence until the bitter end. And I just know. So
And
the
that is why you inspire me, because I get that. You
mhm.
know, for a lot of people, when the is life in too much, it's like, yeah, let me go on a trip. Let me run over here. Let me run over there. Let me distract myself enough because this is too heavy to deal with. But at some point, you were like, listen,
When I found out, and that I even knew that I had an option, like when the doctors told me I had a choice, and it wasn't a space of like I just gotta wait up until, because that's why you don't want to find out. You don't want to
right,
find out because just like, okay, you just, put
if I
the,
don't know, then it's not real and I can
it's not
avoid it.
real. But then also with you not knowing and not understanding you have options. So when she told me I had options, I felt like I could do anything. I said,
Mm,
wait, you mean to tell me I don't have to wait for this? Because that's when you find out that you have that. They don't, and I think in our community and what we know of it is you just have to wait till it happens.
right,
You just have
right.
to wait till breast cancer comes, or
Until
ovarian
the
cancer
diagnosis
comes.
is confirmed,
Yeah,
right? And you're like a ticking time bomb. Let me just wait
exactly. So
instead of being proactive.
the idea that I even could be proactive. When I tell you,
Mm,
I was like, oh, I gotta tell everybody, like, hey, everybody, come listen. Go rub on your breast. Go to the doctor. Tell them, don't be afraid. Like, don't
right,
be scared, because you do have options. Like, I didn't have to have a hysterectomy immediately. But because of all the other woman things that I was suffering with, because they were like, well, if you want to have a baby, we'll do the breast, and you can have your uterus and I guess wait it out. And I was like, 50 sounds weird. I don't like 50. That number is really high. I took statistics in high school. I'm good with 50.
right,
And I know my choice isn't for everybody's, but I beyond belief felt empowered. And it was also like, well, if there's options here, there's options everywhere.
right.
So ladies, go take that into your control, especially women of color, like, and I
Mm,
wanted to tell everybody that, like, girl, it's hurting us at an alarming rate. They're not being proactive with us enough. They're not
right.
telling us enough. And they told me I got a option. I didn't have to do those things, but I chose to do those things because I wanted to show up for my family. And you don't have to be scared either. You can get in front of the fear
Right.
and choose how you want to approach this however you want to. And that was like, when I tell you, I try and tell it, that's a story that I'm very comfortable with telling. Like, and I wear my scars comfortably. I talk about it comfortably, and I shout it as much as I can. And I want to be more. I want to be in a more comfortable space to even shout it louder, because my sister didn't have the choice.
Mm,
I was given the choice.
right.
Who am I not to take it?
Right. And not just showing up for your family, but the women who have come through your space to receive healing so that you can continue to do that. Okay, so I stopped you. So you
Yeah.
have a baby. So how
Oh, I
long
didn't
after
wait
having the baby? Oh, we got to go
before
back.
the
Oh yeah,
yeah
that's right. That's right. That's right.
before the baby was born on at 20 weeks, because I'm 38. I'm considered what do they call it, geriatric pregnancy. So I was
Mhm.
constantly doing testing. So at 20 weeks they found out the baby had a complete cleft lip and palate. And I found out the day after my 39th birthday. And that was all. That was really rough getting out the bed, because I didn't know what that entailed. And again, I have to look at my partner, who we're on sketchy grounds. Like, we don't know how crazy this is going to be. We
Right.
have an opportunity to terminate this, because I don't want to make my life harder than it already is if it's not necessary. And I don't want to do this alone.
Right.
And we sat there and we talked, and he was like, yes. And again, we don't know the severity of it all. Um, but it is a lifelong thing, regardless of how. small or large it is.
Mhm.
So now I have scheduled surgery. I have surgery scheduled, and now my infant does too.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so he's born in May, and we already have 7 months of surgeries lined up between
So
me and
just between you and the baby, seven
and
surgeries.
I have to now organize it with doctors because they wanted to do it immediately, and I was like, no, the baby surgery is here. I need to be in a good enough space for him to heal, and then allow people to come in and help me so I can heal and take care of my infant. And we went back and forth. Matter of fact, I just had my last surgery last month. Actually,
But wait a minute. Let's not
yeah.
leave baby girl. So where's your daughter at this point? She's
Oh,
a freshman in high school.
no, my child is a senior in high school doing her damn thing, and I'm doing
When
all
all
this,
of this is going on.
and I'm still trying to show up for her and be the mom.
So 7 surgeries between you and the baby, senior in high school, sketchy relationship, and you're an entrepreneur.
And I'm an entrepreneur.
Come on. Okay.
um,
Yeah.
I'm
Listen, Marissa said, whoo.
that's too much. Marissa, I gotta be quite honest with you. I never had a chance to even think about it until me and Miss Yolanda sat down and had to write a speech one day because I avoided it. I was on autopilot for so long because
Hmm.
I have to take care of so many moving parts.
Right.
My dad,
I
my
was
dad.
about to say, and you were the caregiver for your parents.
I'm
So
not
you're
the caregiver, but I'm the watcher over because they be
the
making old
watcher
people
over because they don't know
decisions
they don't be acting right.
sometimes. But my dad also has a he's in remission right now, but he has a rare form of cancer. So in that space, also we got my dad's bucket list over here, and I'm over here trying to make sure he's okay and he's in his right mind because without him, I can't do the things that I do. I'm not gonna lie. My dad is my partner when it comes to my kids.
Hmm. So
he,
where does it come from, Simone? Where does you said you were on autopilot, but it wasn't autopilot that had you running into a tree.
no, the autopilot um, comes from the sense of I've always had responsibility. I'm looking at the things that my sister couldn't do. I'm looking at the spaces of my clients. Like when I tell you the stories that sat in my chair,
Mhm.
and it's not a space of feeling sorry for somebody, it's a space of resiliency and like knowing like we don't necessarily have similar situations, but this woman sat with me in the chair. She described a situation that seemed like she could never come back from, and I'm making her beautiful to go to work.
Mm.
So it's a space of and also sitting with women, knowing that strength within women of color is innate. We're born with it. We don't need no more given to us. It's natural. It's embedded. It's
Right.
ingrained.
We don't need any more lessons to
We
test
don't
our
need
strength. We
no more
got it.
lessons. So, and understanding that I know as a woman of color, I'm strong already. I don't
Mhm.
need to pray for it.
Mm. So could it be that the what you call autopilot was really that inner knowing that this has got to happen?
It. I made a decision to like. I made a decision to be proactive with my care. It.
Mm.
Nothing bad can come from that. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of just have
Say
to.
that one more time. Please say it one more time.
I
You
made a
made it a decision.
decision to be proactive with my care. So along that journey, nothing bad can come with that.
You got to put that on a t-shirt. I made a decision to be proactive with who I am and how well I am. So nothing could come bad from that. When you make a decision to say, I am going to be well.
I didn't cut up my body and do all those things to not turn out okay. I can't.
Listen, I didn't you didn't go through all of those things to not be okay. So
Yeah,
that's the
you
only
can't.
option.
It is the only
Only
option.
option.
Deciding to bring this baby into this world, knowing the challenges that he might have, I still chose to do it. So it has to turn out well.
And
And
it does.
God,
I think that should be on every black woman's headstone. It turned out well. Because what other option do we have when we
We
really think
don't.
about it? And so all of the worrying and the fretting and the crying, I know that's real too. The
It
puffing
is real.
up, it's
And
real.
before I even enter that space, I chose to lean on perspective always. Right. So like I moved to Virginia to be with somebody and that relationship didn't work out. But on the flip, I own a house that I would have never been able to own in New York.
Listen,
Um, my family came down here to support me. I could always feel guilty about them leaving their home, but I also know for a fact if my parents were in New York, they wouldn't have made it through COVID. So like in this space of every time I was like beating myself up, I was like, no girl, perspective,
perspective.
perspective. Like I chose it's literally a choice.
I
And I
made it here to
always
be well. So everything after that is going to align with that.
it has to. And it's not, it hasn't been easy.
Marissa said, that's a word.
Thank you, Marissa. Like
Lisa said, true.
it hasn't been easy. Like you even asked me before when I did the speech, am I still in the middle of my journey? And that took me out. Remember that day? It took me out because I had to really sit down for a moment and be in time, place, and person, which I usually don't do. I'm always that way.
Running.
So when you brought me back to time, place, and person, I was like, oh no, girl, you really much so are in the middle of your journey because I still have my days, but
here's the thing, we're always in the middle of the journey.
Yeah.
Someone gave me a visual, I don't know who, but it was the spiral staircase. You're going to always go around the same issues, just at a different level.
Yes.
Higher and higher and higher. And we think when we heal from something, that's the end of it. No.
So the best piece of advice, because I'm a herald for my community.
Right.
One of my good friends, Tanika, she told me one day, she said, the expectation of being healed is unrealistic and we're always going to be disappointed. She said, we will forever be in a space of healing. So when you remove that thought of being healed, you won't beat yourself up for reacting to certain things.
For being human.
And she told me that, and every single day now when something triggers, I can actually get back faster knowing that I don't have to beat myself up because that's not something I got over. Or matter of fact, not even approaching things at all. Like Facebook, I am quick to delete a memory. Delete.
Listen, I say that I will take my last exhale, and that frees me up from perfectionism. What am I trying to be perfect for? You know, if I react to something, it's because it's still in me. It's going to always be in me. But what you said earlier, my perspective is going to change. And so, yeah, things get me, but they don't get me for long.
Yeah.
You might get me for a minute, but my comeback is so much stronger than it used to be.
That's what I'm excited about.
Listen, so, like, I don't want any more troubles. I'm telling all entities, listen, I don't want any more troubles, but there is a certain level of excitement. Like, that's all you got? Do you know what I've been through? That's all you got? Like, we were talking a little bit before we came on today, and I was like, I'm upset about some things that happened earlier, but let me tell you what I've been through and how I know I can recover from anything. I know I can recover from anything. At this point, I'm not asking for nothing to test me.
Right? Like I'm good.
I know what I've been through.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still sitting here smiling and excited to talk to people about what they've been through because the perspective is different.
Yeah. It is. Like, just this week alone, like we were talking earlier, things getting thrown at me and us and just in general would usually try to trample me. But now I've changed my perspective on it. Like, oh, wait, that means you're getting closer to your purpose if they're working as hard. So you should just use this as fuel because you're almost there.
Right. Like this day, I'm like, something great is coming my way because
no, it's there.
Something is upset that I'm about to win in a big way. I'm about to win in a big way, and something is upset, which is why all of these distractions are coming. But guess what? You can't distract me because my perspective is different. And it only has come about because I no longer try to live a dual life of I'm one way here and I'm this way all the way. If you can't take it, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. If my
So
spirituality bothers you, that's something you have to deal with
yeah.
because this is who I am. But I didn't always know that, but I'm so glad I do now.
I know it now too. I was telling you I have exciting news because
Please share, please share.
so
Well, wait a
you
minute.
ha-
Before
yeah,
you share,
yes,
so baby is born,
yes,
surgery happened. So this
yeah,
is kind of where we connected,
yes.
because I am the mother of a tissue exclusive donor, and
Hmm.
you are the recipient of donor tissue. You and
Yes.
your son. You and your
No,
son.
no,
Just
just
you.
me.
Just
Just
you.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, just me.
Yeah.
Um, so I got asked to tell my story. Um, to help and to bring awareness. And one, I didn't even know that you can do that with tissue donation and donorship. So I was excited and I was like, oh yeah, how can I help? And how can I spread awareness? And I was invited to speak at the Infinite Legacy Remembrance Ceremony, and you helped me with my speech. And I am so grateful. The first time we spoke was life changing. It was literally life changing.
Let me tell you, if follow Simone on Instagram so you can see that the clip of her speech. When it was sent to me, I was in tears. And we only had to meet twice because your
Yeah,
story was already dynamic. And I just asked you a couple of questions and you answered them truthfully, beautifully, and honestly. And I said, as a donor mom, that's what I want to hear. I want to know that the choice that I made to donate my child's tissue was appreciated. That's all I
yeah.
want to know. I may never meet the people that receive them, but I want to know that it was appreciated. And you spoke for recipients in such a beautiful
Thank,
way.
thank you. Um, you helped me so much, and also a space of knowing what my journey and my calling is, even for myself. Um, I had no idea where me telling my story, and I just wanted to tell people to bring awareness. Like I said before, like a herald to the community, like you got options and look what you can do and how you can help people. And just because if you can, you should do it. It's very simple. That's what my dad always taught me. If you can do it, you should do it. It's very simple, cut and dry. So, you helped me with my speech and you helped me with myself, because even in that conversation it was short, but it was intentional, and things have changed since then. So that was April 23rd. I was able to speak in front of about 150 families and be very transparent and vulnerable. I'm always transparent, but I'm very funny. I try to be funny because that's just how I deal with life. But in that space, I had to be vulnerable, and you helped me do that and be genuine. And my experience there altered even how I moved then thereafter, to be in a room of people that on their worst, hardest day of their life choose to help other people is insane. Like that is an unbelievable gift. That is, you talk about my decisions. That is an unbelievable decision on your part, and other families that chose that. And then to tell my story in that space, and then thereafter to watch the the donors up there, to watch their loved ones up there, to see their faces, it made me appreciate my gift even more.
Mm,
It made me appreciate it even more. And it was kind of like, you cannot be small in any space,
mm,
because you can't be small for your sister. You
mm.
can't be small for your clients and the women that sit in your chair. And you really can't be small because God gave you the ability to beat this before you felt the fire.
Mm.
You won before you won before the race. So I got to sign a new lease on life without feeling fire. I got to win the race. I got to win without running in the race. How dare I lack?
Mm.
in anything that I do because I have to live for these families and I have to live for these amazing people that lost their lives.
But that's a story for all of us. How dare any of us lack
Exactly.
when so many have given so much for us to be in the position that we're in? How dare any of us think so little of ourselves?
That part. That part. And not that everybody has to be, on a
Mhm.
stage, but you have to live your life intentionally every day
Right.
for you first. And then you cannot be small.
You better play them gifts that have been given to you. You
every
better.
last every last one. So I left that space with knowing that what I do for a living every day is way bigger than just that. And I appreciate you for that. And when I tell you that same week, life
Tell,
changed.
tell, tell, tell us the good news. Tell us the good news because I haven't heard it and I want to know.
Okay. So, um, I had surgery at the top of the month. Me and my surgeon planned it for that reason so that I would be healed for that week. That was my first week returning back to work. April 23rd, when I spoke at the Infinite Legacy, was my speech. And then I drove to New York to get behind the chair with all of my favorite ladies and my favorite clients. And I got to lay hands on them and share the amazing energy that I got. And then I got to fly off to Los Angeles because I'm a traveling hairstylist as well.
She's
I got
international,
to,
y'all.
oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Let me fix my title. I'm a global hairstylist
She's
because
global, y'all.
yeah, these little two hands get to take me around the world. I'm very appreciative of it every day. So I got to go to LA to do a business conference for one of my dear friends that I grew up with, who's a very, very successful, Rachel Rogers. So she does the most. It is a collective with her, Susan.
Wait. Rachel
Yeah,
Rogers Esquire.
yes, Esquire. That's my good friend. We grew up together. We grew up together, and I did. I'm a flex right quick. I did the hair for the cover of her book,
Get out of here. Okay. Okay.
and when she discusses her first client in her book, that was me because we actually started our businesses together at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
So I was her first client.
What's the title? Is it Every Woman Should Be a
We
Millionaire?
we should all be
We should all be
millionaires.
millionaires. Yes.
Yes,
Rachel Rogers Esquire.
yes, Esquire.
Okay, so you
So
flew to LA.
I flew out to LA to do her event with Robert Hartwell, who is Strength on Stages, and he teaches folks how to present their stories, and Susan Hyatt, who is a life coach for business coaches.
Mhm,
So that's the dynamic trio, and what a blessing it was to get to sit in both rooms. I got to sit in the room where they were teaching, and I
mhm.
got to sit in the room where they were devising the plan.
Okay.
And it was amazing because they breed success through osmosis because the way my phone was lighting up just by being in the building, I was like, okay, okay. So day two, I'm doing Robert's hair, and he's like, Simone. I said, yes. He was like, I see what you're doing. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And when do you have time to see what I'm doing? He was like, I see you. He was like, I want you to be a part of Strength on Stages. And I was like, I've already done hair for your event. I'm always there. You know that. He was like, no, I want you to be a part of it. I was like, I don't understand.
You're like, excuse me, what?
He was like, I need you to sign up. Can you come to New York on June 8th and June 9th? So he invited me as a scholarship to do Strength on Stages. Given the fact that I didn't know my story, I was like, what story? Because I've always thought about it when I was there. And I was like, girl, you don't have a story. But Yolanda, you helped me with my story. So now I have a story.
Oh, you got a story, my dear. You
So
have a
now I'm sitting there with him the first day, and I'm like, how does this transcribe to my business? Like, how does this story? I didn't really understand. I was just like, my story is very big. I know it's very big. I know there's a lot of moving parts to it. And I don't want to like knock what I do for a living. I said, but retailing wigs is cool, but this story is meant for something bigger. And I have the bigger. So I have Hair Arts Foundation, which is a non-for-profit that I already started, but never knew how to move in that space until I sat with you that week. I did my speech. I'm sitting with Robert. I'm sitting with Rachel. All, like I said, all in one week. I have my clients in New York. I'm just sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I'm worried about helping this many people. but my story is bigger than that.
Right.
And through the Hair Arts Foundation, and hopefully, not hopefully, it will be 2024. We will be set up. The goal is, I'm a medical wig provider already, so that's where I transferred what my passion behind the chair to helping more people, and in the space of providing medical wigs and helping out people with hair loss due to medical reasons. And there's many, there's many.
Mhm.
Um, but now with the Hair Arts Foundation, I have the space to help people and help other stylists help their customers as well, their clients as well, to help folks that can't afford retail and are not covered by medical insurance. We have the space to provide medical units and or medical services if they don't want to. I'm partnered with a trichologist who we can help on all scopes of things. And we can offer, with the Hair Arts Foundation, we can offer help to other stylists that they can help their communities more. And I'm so excited about that because I was just like, I was just worried about my clients that I can reach. And
And
now
God was
understanding,
like, hold my beer. I
yeah, he was
got a
like, I
bigger
got
plan
this.
for you. I got a
And
bigger
then
plan for
when it hit me, I was like, oh my God, no. Like at first I was like, no. And I was like, no, 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 Simone, this is what you've been preparing for. You've been trying to figure these things out. And that happened in 1 week, Yolanda. And now
you.
I will
But
be going to the
knowing that,
stage.
when is it, June 8th, June 9th?
Yeah, June 8th and June 9th, I'll be in New York recording that and just learning how to tell my story in a space of learning how to help. And then also building out on this Hair Arts Foundation. I'm really, really, really excited about what we can do with this.
Marissa
Yeah,
just said what I was thinking. Your story is such a wonderful example of alchemy because you said, when I made the choice, when I made the decision to be proactive about my wellness, everything else is going to be well.
it's been a journey. And thank you,
Let
Marissa.
me
I
let
read
me
the
let me
Alchemist.
add manifester to your list of titles. I was like, number 4. What's the fourth title? Manifester, because you said I'm going to be well, and then everything else is going to line up.
It has to be.
It
It
has
has to, it has to be. I'm like, I'm walking, we walk through life as good people, and a lot of bad things happen sometimes. Like a lot of bad things happen. And we can, it's literally a choice. Like you can be angry and let those things come and take you over and become bitter, or you can choose to walk through life gracefully and faithfully and always be positive. It ain't easy. I say it with ease today because I'm having a good day. I saw the Little Mermaid this morning, you know.
right, right.
But even on my bad days, I have to choose that.
Based
And
upon the story that you told, even in your worst moment, it took you to a place where you were transformed and you made the choice that this is what I want to do.
yeah,
When you could not do for yourself, you said, let me go find someone to do what I know needs to be done. Got it
yeah,
done and said, okay, if I can feel this good from this is what I want to do. All about choices, all
yeah.
about the choices to say, I'm going to live my life this way and not splinter myself and be one way here and one way there, but this is what I'm going to do.
I'm just I'm just excited to have that better understanding about myself now to transform this into what is next for me. I'm I'm
You're
I'm
going to
lost
the
for words.
stage, Simone. You're
I was
going to
like,
the stage.
I'm going to no, because even when he asked me to be on the Strength on Stages, I was just like, well, how is my story like? Where's my story going to fit? Like, I know it fits in a
Mhm.
lot of places, but how does it fit to what I do? And when I found the pocket for where it fits for what I do and what I'm passionate about, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great.
Because you have been transforming lives. You've been doing that.
And I'm excited to help other stylists even do that are like-minded. Like
Right.
again, I when I started the Hero Foundation, I was like, oh, this is cute. I'm gonna keep it cute with my clients. And then learning more about what not-for-profits does, learning more about how my story can reach people, and how when I speak and I talk to people, and when I talk to the folks and I'm passionate about what I talk about, how it broadens. And I've learned that now. I've been in the salon with women in a
Mhm.
1,000 square feet for a long time. So to now grasp the concept of when I speak, it can reach all ends of the world now is kind of mind blowing.
It
But then
is. It
it's
is.
very mind blowing. But then the idea of putting myself in a position to help like-minded stylists like me help more people, so that my goal of making women feel their most empowered and beautiful selves even on their worst days, that can be transformed in Minneapolis through Tanya, who's doing hair. I can help her do that for her client. I
Right.
can help Timothy do that for his client. And even like the kids, like with, back to school and alopecia, like I'm so excited about the possibilities from this. And I'm really looking forward to it. And again, I just appreciate your help, because I promise you, like, it's been like blocks on top of blocks getting to this point. And because I asked God for restoration,
Mm.
it happened quickly.
Woo! I love it. I love it. And nowhere in your story did I hear that I was a victim, or even if you may have felt that way at times, I didn't hear that in your story. Your story,
No,
since the first time I heard it, I'm like, this woman is a rock star. Because how many of us get tripped up because the gas prices are too high, or we crumble because a relationship doesn't work, or we want to throw it all away because things are not working the way that we think they're supposed to be working, but they work in all of the time. If your
I will.
perspective is that way, it is working. You can't
Yeah,
see it because your humanness won't allow you to. But what did I say to you? When my eyes are not working, let me use God's eyes to see what I can't see, because this don't look the way that I think it's supposed to look. So I'm going to trust that everything that is happening for me is really happening in my life, is really happening for me.
yeah.
I just can't see it yet, but it's coming. And like you said, stuff gets thrown at you because something greater is coming to distract you. As long as you don't get distracted and succumb to those things that happen to all of us, and keep that focus in that vision and say, something great is about to happen, because this mess that I'm in right now, only, only something great can be born out of this
And
mess right here.
I mean, I won't lie either. And all of that, I was facing mental issues as well. I went through postpartum, real depression, and menopause all at the same time.
God, Simone, listen, I was just gonna
All,
say, wait a minute, all of that.
yeah, all of that at the same exact time. And when I tell you, it was like that was a moment that I had to have a seat. And I'm very grateful for my family and my friends. I'm very grateful, and that my daughter got to, in a space sometimes we don't want our daughters to see us like that, but I'm grateful that she did, and that she was able to watch me get back up, because I know
Mm,
for a fact now that when my daughter goes out into life, when anything hits her, she's going to know that it hurts, but she's going to be able to get back up because she saw me do it
right,
in a
right,
space where our generation, our moms hit that. They didn't
right.
show us that. So when we go through it, it feels like that's the end of the world. I let my daughter
And that
see
we're
me.
right, and that we're alone in it, and that
Yeah.
we're not gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I was very transparent with her in that space, and I'm grateful for that, because she got to. I didn't drum with her like we were best friends, because that's not her burden. But I was transparent. She used to come in my room and be like, "Mom, can we? I'm in a very dark place today. I will be better tomorrow, and we will be able to do that tomorrow." And I was able to say that to her, and able to do that because I also know I had to get up for her tomorrow
Right, and that's
and show
authentic.
up.
That's
Yeah.
authentic. That is, again, showing people that duality that we all live with. Everything is not sunshine and rainbows, and I would we would do a disservice to act as if that is the way that we're supposed to be. We have to
Yeah.
have a full experience, and sometimes those experiences are unlike anything that we ever could have imagined. But if we stay there and get stuck there, then we won't be excited about the things that are coming.
Mhm.
So I'm so grateful for your story because it's a demonstration, like Marissa said, of how you take something and turn it into something else. But you have to have the vision to be able to do that.
I read
And
The Alchemist.
the vision is right.
I, the crazy part about it, for the past 3 years, I have listened to The Alchemist and the Four Agreements every other month, right?
Hmm.
And that keeps me grounded also in perspective. And I probably wouldn't have learned these things so quickly if it wasn't for that. So when I saw alchemy, I was like, I
Oh,
am.
listen, I'm about to go reread it again for the 20 millionth time because it's going to give you something different every time you read it and make you realize we are all on a hero's journey. This is the
Yes.
journey. Everyone keeps saying, well, I want to go on my spiritual journey. Girl, you in it right now.
Yeah.
Even when
And
you're
I
on the bottom, that's part of it.
and I appreciate you for that as well, talking to you about that. Cause again, I was always so goal orientated. I was always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And these past few years have had me sit down because I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next at all. So
Mhm.
just more so enjoying my journey day by day, having
Mhm.
grace with myself day by day.
Mhm.
Like like today, like I said, I had a real my tire was shredded. The tread was off my tire. I drove to New York and back with that shredded tire. Did not know. I was like, "Oh, God loves this fool," because there ain't no way I should have made it home. No, the
Wow.
whole thing was ripped off. So I went and got the tire fixed. I could have been upset this morning because it took me off of my plan of action, but I was just like, no, dude, you still alive. That
Right.
tire says that you're not supposed to be on this planet, shorty. So, like,
Right.
pay the man the money, get the tire fixed. I was a little peed off.
Mm.
So I went to the movies with my mother and my daughter this afternoon. And that's the great thing about entrepreneurship and what it affords.
That's what you need to do. I know that's right.
And then
Woo.
so now I treated myself. I had grace with myself. I celebrated, even though, and going to the movies is big for me. I love the movies, but like that was my little win for today. And that was my choice to make me happy for today. I was very nervous coming on today to talk to you. I was thinking about it all week, like what I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna do.
Oh, you
Um,
said beautifully because you've given us so many gems. That gem of when you make a choice about something, you also have to believe that everything else is going to line up. Everything is going to line up.
and keep on moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
I prayed. I stopped praying for certain things because my homegirl taught me, like, when you pray for strength, God gives you more battles to get over. So I was very mindful with my prayers. So up until April, I'm not gonna lie, I always prayed that in the space of discord that I would remain faithful,
Mm,
because that was my biggest thing. Like when things got bad, I would just be like, "Are you sure?"
right.
So that was my prayer for the longest. And I had a new client because that's how I learn things. I had a client sit in my chair on April 16th, and she was just like, "I don't, it's year 7 for me. Year 7 is completion. It's my year of restoration." And I said, "What you say, girl?" She said, "It's my year of restoration." I
Mm,
said, I said, "I know I don't know you, but when I finish your hair, I'm going to give you a long, awkward hug that's going to produce endorphins. And I just need to know that you're okay with
okay
that
with that,
because
right.
I'm going to do it." And
Hmm.
she laughed. And I was like, "I'm very serious." I said, "I've been talking to God for a long time and I've used a lot of words. I've
But
used a
never
lot of words,
restoration. Never
never
restoration.
restoration." And
Wow.
that's exactly what I needed. That's
Mm,
exactly what I needed. I was just like, I just need to be restored. And then I started reading the books and, listening to sermons and getting the information on what real restoration and spirituality looks like, as
mhm.
opposed to, like, just fixing something. I'm a
Right.
fixer. I know how to restore things, but this is a different restoration that I
It's a
need.
different restoration. Listen, I had to have that conversation with myself. It's like, why are you praying for stuff you already got? You already have it. So what you praying for it for? That makes you sound as if you don't know you have it or you don't appreciate it or you're not grateful for it. Stop praying for the things that you know you already have and
Yes.
think about how grand things already are and expand on that. Can you please stop praying for small crumbs and small things when you already have it? I know I'm strong. So why would I pray for strength when I'm
You know
already
you're
look,
you already know you're strong.
I
You
already
already
know
know
I'm
what you
strong. So
have
why
to
am I praying
do.
for that?
Like
Right.
you already know what you have to do. So asking God to order your steps sometimes it's kind of like, like asking God where to start. And he's like, I gave you the
Like,
class, I
well,
gave
you've
you
been
the
on start.
person.
I gave you the map, the GPS. What you want? What else do you
What
want?
else do you want? So now it's just a prayer of restoration and walking in my steps,
Right.
even fearful. And I'm taking fearful out of my conversation too. It's cautiousness because fear makes you stop immediately. Fear is a
Right.
negative word. It immediately makes you stop what you're doing. So if I walk in a space of cautiousness and awareness, you still walk.
Awareness. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Good.
I
Amen.
restoration is upon us. We will
And it
be
looks good
restored
on
and
you
made
too.
better.
And it looks good on you. Oh, hey
Thank
there,
you.
Giselle. Giselle says it's always wanted to catch you live, and I hope to be doing more of it. I'm
And
grateful.
you will.
I, okay, I'm gonna claim
You
that. I
will.
will claim that. Again, if you have any questions for Simone, this is her contact information. She's the owner of Hair Art to Go, but this is where you can find her, her websites, her just. I'm telling you, go on Instagrams if you're on Instagrams and just look at how. First of all, phenomenal. You're
Thank
beautiful.
you.
You're
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you
Uh,
so much.
but what you manage to do, and you don't just make wigs, you teach other people how to make wigs.
Oh,
We didn't even
I
talk about that, how you teach other people.
so my
And,
job,
if they don't have a sewing machine, you will hook them up, not for free, but you will
yeah.
listen.
I mean, you got if you're going to teach somebody how to do it, you got to show them everything. Every single job I've ever had, I've trained. So I've just come to grips with this year, also learning that I am good at teaching. Like it's okay, Simone, you can say it out loud. You're
Yes.
good at teaching people things. I claim that. So actually I'm going to be rolling out a full educators course for next year. It's a 10-part class because I also come from a business background and that's important to me as well.
Yeah.
To promote proper foundation for business, but I teach wig making, hairstyling, business education, and whatever somebody wants to learn from me. If I know how to do it, I will share.
And
You
that
gotta give to receive.
gotta give to receive and also receive as you are giving, which is what you talked about, how you manage to learn from everyone that has come through your
Yeah.
space and gathered up all of these pieces of wisdom. I mean, we think we're alone, but we're not. We are literally walking with gods. I thought about that this morning. Like, I am a god. You are a god. We are walking amongst gods. Why are we not speaking to each other like we know it?
Yeah.
Why are we not learning from one another and supporting it? Now, it is happening, but on a larger scale, if we really think about God is expressing through me, so I am a God-like creature, and I am connected to other godlike creatures, what we could create with one another if we talk to one another in that way, which is why I wanted to have this conversation with you and why I want to have other conversations, because I like to talk with gods. I like to
Yes.
talk to gods, goddesses, however you identify. I want
I'm
people
so
to
humble.
know that there are angels and gods among us, and we are out here doing the work. We are doing the work, healing ourselves, healing one another. We're not alone. And I'm telling you, I'm taking that with me. When I make the choice to be well, everything else lines up with that. That's the only outcome for me. That is the only outcome for me from this point forward. The only outcome is I win. This is the winning season, and I'm winning. That's it.
It's everybody's Jordan years.
It's
2023. We're
everybody.
all winners. It's everybody's Jordan year.
It really is. And here we
Everybody's Jordan
are.
year.
Tomorrow is we're at the 6 month mark. And that's not to put pressure on anyone, but to say we've made it this far. So let's go further. Let's dream bigger. Like I've been giving myself a pep talk since last night. Like, girl, you really about to kill it. Like you're really about to show out.
I'm
So that
so
you will
excited.
look back at the end of the year like, wow, you did that. Like 2023 is not going to owe me anything because whew, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Me as well.
Again, Simone Henderson, I'm grateful. Now, is what's going on June 8th and June 9th? Is it something that we can tune into, watch, or
No, not yet, but I'm a follow up, and I've been doing my due diligence with being online and being more
okay,
present as well.
please let
um,
us know
I
because
will be I will be recording that day and doing some background work
okay,
because in that space I'm usually behind the scenes. Like I'm
right,
always a vendor for that space. So to be a part of like getting dressed up and buying a suit and doing all of that, I'm really looking forward to that. It's pretty cool. And telling and learning how to tell my story in different spaces and being more intentional with my story. Um, yeah, you helped with the beginning of this, lady. I hope you know it's only up from here. We only up,
we
and
are here. As the kids say, my kids are probably like, "Oh gosh, mommy, stop talking like that." But
it's okay. It'll be fine. They'll be fine.
they'll be fine. Because if listen, if they want to go up, then they're gonna have to go up with me. You are such a gem. I am so
Thank you.
honored to have met you, to be connected with you, and to be a part of your story in any capacity. I am honored, and I know that you have inspired others with your testimony
Thank
of
you.
restoration. And the things that you had to do, you did them, I believe, whether you were consciously aware of it or not, you did them with a knowing in your spirit that everything is going to be well. And like you said, how dare I not be as great as I know I am, when I watched my sister and I watched others. Like, you are a gift, Simone, and I'm so grateful
Thank
that
you.
you provide what you provide to others. And let me know if you get a wig for me, girl.
Oh no, I said the summer collection is about to come out, so don't be surprised.
Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I'll wear it proudly. I would.
I
I would
appreciate you.
wear it proudly. Thank you, my dear. This was
Thank
great.
you. I
And
appreciate you.
oh, I've been told that there are particular things that I need to say, like subscribe,
Oh
share.
yes.
I don't do that well, but subscribe and share, y'all. You know that we are in this space
Yeah.
every Sunday at 1
Because
p.m.
I watched a YouTube video, so they tell you like go to the link, subscribe, and
Oh, look, I
share.
don't even have my website up. Look, see,
Oh,
she
see, you gotta go to the link and subscribe and share and like.
subscribe, share, and like.
Yes,
You are a dynamite. You are a
thank you.
dynamite, and I love you. Thank you so much
I
for
love you
agreeing
too.
to do this. And again, if anyone wants to get in contact with Simone, that's her contact information. You can um, look at the things that she has to offer, but she's about to offer so much more. You better catch her now before you ain't
Yeah,
able to reach her.
my IG is S West because I got more people on my regular personal Instagram. It's S West
Mhm.
SWESTHAIR. That's my Instagram S West Hair. You'll find me there. I Tina Turner my name. That's why I liked it. That was my ex husband. Rest in peace to
Listen,
Tina Turner. But
rest
S
in
West
peace
Hair.
to the goddess Tina Turner. She
Yes,
taught us well. Keep the
yeah.
name,
I
and
kept the
you'll
name
take
for business
everything else.
purposes. That logo was looking real good. I couldn't change it up. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Giselle. Giselle says we were
thank
both
you so
being so
much.
inspired. Thank you. It
I
is our
appreciate
pleasure.
you.
And just be on the lookout. I might grab somebody else to come join on Work It Wednesday, because there are people doing amazing things and we need to know about it. So,
Yes.
Simone, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.